Hey, cash offer versus realtor. Which one puts more money in your pocket? You just got a cash offer on your Maricopa home that you want to sell. And before you respond, I want to show you something. I work with all types and kinds of cash buyers here in the city of Maricopa, with your iBuyers, your traditional cash buyers, your cash buyers that offer different programs like they'll help you fix your home up to sell it. They'll buy your home and then sell it later. Basically, you get cash now and you get another lump sum later once the home gets sold. So there's several different versions of cash offers. And I want to go over all of those different versions with you to find the right one that makes sense for you. So I've seen all different versions of cash offers, and these cash offers are not new for skilled agents like myself. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand how the cash offer impacts your net number and when it makes sense to use a cash offer. The interesting thing when it comes down to people utilizing cash offers, they're not desperate. 9 plus out of 10 times, the homeowner is not desperate for the cash offer. The funniest thing is that they were sold on avoid the commission, close quickly, or close on your time, and gain certainty. These are the three core things that they're sold on. There are other aspects too, but those are your three major pieces that make someone think, hey, I'm going to avoid a commission. I'm going to sell my home on my time or quickly. I'm going to have certainty in the transaction. The problem with it is that at what cost are you avoiding a commission? At what cost are you closing in 14 or less days? At what cost, and actually, what additional certainty are you truly gaining when you're not in a desperate situation to sell? So, hey, let's math it out together. Let's see what the numbers actually potentially look like. So let's imagine you have a $340,000 offer. Now let's break that down to see how the numbers really work out. So off the bat, I traditionally see them coming in. They say it's at market value. Who's coming up with market value? I'm seeing those numbers averaging out about 97% of market value. So this has us at $329,800. So when the real estate market's buzzing along on this next one, I usually see the convenience fee being something around maybe 5%. What is a convenience fee anyways, right? What is that convenience fee? They're saying avoid a commission, but then I'm seeing a convenience fee. In a market where it's a bit slower, more turbulence for the investor, I'm seeing somewhere around 7 to 8% range, a convenience fee coming in. So roughly another $26,000 off the top. Then I see a repair credit or a remarketing credit, and I'm seeing that usually around 3%. So roughly another $10,000 off the top. Then I see the normal closing costs, and I don't care if it's the number that has that term tied to it, but I'm usually seeing about 2% in closing costs. Once you get all the numbers baked in, these are going to be the numbers that kind of lead you with your net. But both a traditional listing with the realtor and a cash one, if we're seeing 2% across the board, there's no difference on that net. So this has you roughly 286, 287, roughly 15% the differences. We're looking at about a 15% number. So let's dive into what the numbers would look like if you're working with a realtor, a listing agent like myself here in the city of Maricopa. Well, before we dive into the traditional listing side of it, let's go over the logic of it. It makes sense. These cash buyers, iBuyers, and so forth have designed a model that makes someone think, well, this makes sense because you're going in it alone. And so the 15% is a fair number. I see it from 15 to 25%, and I'll tell a seller it's still a fair number because the investor, the iBuyer, is taking on the asset. If the market was to decline while they're holding that property, that's on them. Future commissions, compensation, closing costs, so forth, holding costs, repairs, are all on them after the deal closes. So that responsibility comes at a fair return. And if you're looking at net numbers for the cash that they're putting out, because any other type of business, you would expect to see somewhere, 20 to 30 some percent in profit from the transaction, no matter what it is. If you're selling candy bars, you're selling cars, you need to have a healthy enough profit margin in order to stay in business. Now, let's also hop into the idea that I personally don't believe cash offers are always bad. I work with multiple cash offer solutions because I believe in them, but they're not right for everybody at every single moment. There are two areas I find commonly when I'm meeting with people, it makes the most sense for them to go that route. Number one is going to be when they're in a desperate situation. Who knows what that may be? They may owe somebody money. They may have a medical situation they're fixing. Several different reasons when they're like, I need this money now. If I don't have this money now, a pain point, a bad thing, something's going to happen. It makes sense to go ahead with a transaction that can close in 15, 14, or less days once the transaction starts. There are going to be two different styles of speed that can happen to allow that. And once we meet together, if you're in that situation, I'll go over that with you. The other way is when the house is in such disarray. You sell a car and it just won't run. We have a house, it just won't run. And so when that house is broken down, it's at a point where it makes no sense that you're going to be able to sell it in the MLS, gain any more profit in the MLS, take on the headache now of being in the MLS. Okay, those are the two main categories. A bonus one, which is a unique one that I experienced, where we went ahead and sold them their home to an iBuyer. They both worked 3 to 4 12-hour shifts, and they worked the opposite shifts. So one worked the graveyard night shift, one worked the day shift. Then they had at least 6 to 9 little chihuahuas, and juggling all these different pieces and trying to sell it in the traditional market. It made no sense. They were aware of all the numbers. It was roughly $50,000 difference if I sold it in the MLS or if we sold it to the iBuyer, the cash buyer. And they were fine with it. That's a rare one, but that is another unique situation where it can make sense for someone to work with a cash buyer. As a listing agent, I am completely different than I'd say 9+ out of 10 listing agents out there, really close to almost 10 out of 10 different. I work with multiple cash buyers. I believe in the power of these cash buyers. What I like to do is line up at least 3 offers for you, unique different types of offers for you to decide, learn what your situation is, figure out which one of those cash offers would make the best sense for you. Then compare it side by side with my enhanced MLS services that includes Zillow Showcase to really enhance your home, to put your home in front of more people, give you better photography for more people, better media for more people to see. And we compare these 4 different offers for you. And then I consult you as a fiduciary. I can say that word correctly, but I'm consulting you where I just don't care which path you choose. I'm here simply to help you, okay? And at that point, you make up your mind which route you want to go. You're now fully educated in the process. And part of that process, we're going to dive into how many days it's taken to sell a home. Right now, we're seeing roughly 32 days if we went in the MLS, priced it correctly, and we're able to put more of that money in your pocket. And through that process, we're looking at roughly 8 to 10% is a fair number. I like to just go with 10%. So if we're looking at a 340 home, so we're looking at roughly 34,000. It's going to be less than that. I come from the old school model, better to under promise and over deliver. I like to go with the 10% just as a quick, easy number. So for a fair, reasonable type of offer, 34,000 fees and so forth in the MLS, or 53,000+ with a cash buyer. And typically it's going to be on the plus side. When I say fair, it's usually a tighter, better market where things are selling quicker. So the cash buyer, the iBuyers, and have less risk in the relationship with your home, you, the market, you'll be able to get their return on their investment. So like State Farm, I'm like a good neighbor, there when you need me. I'm only here to help you. So if you do have a cash buyer in your inbox right now, time out. Say, hey, James, I want to sit down with you and go side by side all the details and see if this cash offer makes the best sense, or I should look at your cash offers, or I should just look at the idea of listing with you. And I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to be very transparent with you and say, hey, this is a cash offer I think you should take. Or, hey, let's challenge it with these ones, or let's challenge it with the MLS process. Why are you selling? What's your urgency factor? And go over, because there are rare situations, which I have, where I tell a seller that cash offer, that is the best cash offer you're going to get on your home. And the great thing about this, with your relationship you found with them, I'm going to add them to my portfolio because I want to make sure other sellers have that same opportunity with this to cash buyer. Different cash buyers will have different results. If you've seen a big brand type name, well, how are you seeing that big brand? Think about it. How are you seeing it? They're paying money for commercials on TV, their radio, social media, Google, billboards, the newspapers, a print ad somewhere. They're paying a lot of money for that. So their wiggle room and negotiations start becoming a lot tighter to negotiate because they're spending a lot of money to be found. So once in a while, we do find someone who has some wiggle room a little bit better in those numbers, and they're willing to give it up. And when I get those and I see they're willing to give it up, I'm going to lean on those as much as I can. And maybe at some point along the way, they say, hey, I'm too busy right now to be giving up those margins. And so I'm going to stick with this type of a model. Makes sense? Reach out to me. I'm James Sanson. I've been selling homes here in the city of Maricopa since 2004. Been selling real estate since 2002. I've helped thousands of households get their homes sold. I have hundreds of 5-star reviews. So if you're looking for a real estate agent who cares, who delivers the results, has the background and proof, reach out to me. My goal is to fix your problem in the best way that makes sense for you. There's a link inside the description. There's a link inside the comment area. It's the very first one pinned in the comment area. Click on it, the home valuation. Let's get the process started. Or if you want to go immediately to our cash offer service, that is maricopacashoffers.com. Look forward to getting to know you and help you and create an amazing relationship and deliver results that count.